So here we are, this is our first day, pretty much our first hour. This is going to be our campsite. So we thought before we put the tents up, we better see what's under the ground. So the guys here, they're just putting in a grid. We're going to do some resistivity, some magnetometry, some GPR, ground penetrating radar, and really figure out what's here, because there might be a sense that there's actually a gatehouse here. So we'll see what's there first before we put the tents up.
Well, I'm stood in the sunshine at Leiston Abbey, and we're about to start the geophysics survey, which hopefully then will feed into the excavations so that everything can be more targeted and a good specific approach to it. We've bought everything. We're literally going to throw the kitchen sink at this. We're starting off with a nice and simple magnetometer survey. Fast, easy to do, give us a good picture of the entire site. After that we're going to follow through with the resistance survey, which is the old Zimmer frame, and that will then start to pick out the structure within around the standing remains and also in the fields beyond where we think there might have been either older buildings or ancillary structures. And then once we've done those two as kind of our scan across, we've got the radar with us, which will be a little bit slower but will give us much more detail and some depth information so that the guys know how much overburden they've got to get through before they hit the good stuff.
Leiston is such a beautiful site anyway, but one of the most magical things for us about working here is that from so many different directions, there's just music pouring out all over the site as people are practicing piano and other instruments, and you know, it's sort of mixed in. It's quite funny right now because it's mixed in with the beeping, beeping, beeping of Jimmy and Emma and the machines, and then the music tinkling off in the background, and you know, I'm just having one of those moments where I'm standing here going, this is so much fun.
So I've never done any geophysics before, not in practice anyway, just in the classroom. So it's really great to get my hands on some of this equipment, and it's really fun, and and everybody here is teaching me all the ropes, so it's great.
Next is heading out into the fields beyond, where we think there's certainly some earthworks that look like platforms.
Yes, and on the LiDAR there's actually something that looks rectilinear, so that's possibly something of interest.
Okay, so in the earthwork field, there could have been structures made from wood. Our instruments would not pick them up. And the other thing is with earthworks, you don't get as much contrast in the ground because they're still extant. So when we walk over, we're seeing what we're actually seeing on the surface rather than what's underground. If those features had been ploughed out, there'd be more difference in the subsoils and everything. So we get the lines, the ditches, what we'd think we'd see. But yeah, because they're still extant, we haven't found them. Okay, so Geofizz can be absolutely brilliant at times, but there are occasions when it just doesn't work. And the best possible way of finding out what is there is to actually dig it. So I think that's what needs to be done over there. Just go in over the earthworks, put a few trenches in, and you might find something brilliant which we can't see.
So here we are at the end of our Geofizz Dirty Weekend, and we've pretty much had a mixed bag. Some of the results have been disappointing, some have been fantastic. This is an area where it's been fantastic. So we're going to put a trench in right across what could well be a building coming out from our wall there. We don't know what the building was, we don't know whether it was part of the infirmary, we don't know whether it was part of the kitchen, we're not sure. So we're going to put a trench in here to see what we can find. We also have done some remote sensing in the field towards the back of the Abbey, where we've got lots of topography, lots of earthworks. Unfortunately the geophysics there is pretty poor, but we're still going to put some trenches in because we just still don't know what's going on. So we're going to see what happens when we start our excavation with day one tomorrow morning.
So Jimmy, I was just unloading stuff. What's this for?
Well, it's a disco mushroom.
Where does that fit into everything?
Well, as a geophysicist, you spend your days collecting data and your evenings throwing shapes. And I was slightly worried that DigVentures may not have been fully equipped for that.
Okay, well I'm very glad that you've brought it along to teach us the ways of geophysics.
Oh yes.
It's very kind of you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.